Well, don't you just love it when premium priced products get offered in the market for a fraction of the price? And dare I say, with maybe the same build and performance. Well, we have here the Eweadn S9 Ultra with a fiery red glow. This is a large mouse and I have small hands, so let's see how I fare with this mouse in later tests. This has a PAW3950 sensor, which is basically one of the top performing sensors to date with overkill specs. By overkill, I mean 30k max DPI, 750 inch per second tracking speed, 50 gram acceleration, and a report rate of 8000 Hz. Now, this is paired with a PAW2862 microcontroller, and in case you haven't heard, microcontrollers or MCUs basically have a direct effect on polling rate stability, latency, and even tracking. I've never used a mouse with this MCU before, yet I am confident this should perform pretty much the same as other mice I've tried with Nordic MCUs, and after a while of gaming, shooting here and there, dying here and there, my hands just blended with the mouse. The glide was smooth, yet my grip was not perfect, but that was okay. And as for the sensor, it did well. I mean, I never experienced any spinouts or issues with tracking, and by the way, throughout my tests, I had my lift-off distance at 1 mil. Oh, and about that, yes, you can customize the lift-off distance of the S9 from 0.7 mils to 1 mil to 2 mils. The software includes all necessary features in a mouse, including key binding, DPI settings, and macro recording. Now, I do not have any complaints on the software design as it's pretty much self-explanatory, and glad they added in the option here to adjust polling rate so I don't have to put too much stress on my CPU. Out of the box, you get the mouse, dongle, cable, grip tapes, extra feet, and documentation. The added grips were great. I'm just not a fan of the white prints. The cable feels crunchy and stiff, which is not entirely ideal for use when gaming due to the cable drag. Now onto the mouse, the coating is really good. Kind of feels like spray painted metallic red. It also feels grippy out of the box, weighing in at 64 grams, give or take. I did not need a lot of time to adjust coming from a 49-gram mouse. The difference is mostly in feel of both mice with stopping power, having 15 grams more weight on the S9. Speaking of stopping power, the glide on the S9 felt smooth, and I did not feel any imbalance from its stock feet. The feet are also rounded by the edges to eliminate scratching on pads. Moving on, the scroll wheel had ample tactility, middle mouse button presses felt okay, and nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. Micro switches used here are Kale white blade optical switches with an advertised lifespan of 80 million clicks. And checking out all the clickers, there is a little pre-travel to all of them, but it isn't bothersome for me. And by the left side, you get Eweadn's branding with the gold print along with an LED indicator above the mouse wheel, which is basically all I have to say in terms of aesthetics. So let's move on. First off, this looks like a Viper V3, but I personally have not tried a Viper V3 myself, so I couldn't compare the shapes. What a bummer. Anyhow, this has an ambidextrous symmetrical shape that I feel is for medium to large hands. In contrast, I have here a Strider with me, which is a medium-sized mouse, and you do really see the size difference, mostly in length. Length is at 124 mils, width is at 56 mils, and height is at 40 mils. Now, my hands are really small. They are the same size as the hands of my 5-foot wife, but somehow, the Eweadn S9 is functional in my case. A drawback for me as a small-handed claw gripper is that I'm clicking on the lower area of the mouse buttons, making it a tad bit harder to press, and basically adding more latency to my clicks on a hardware level. On the bright side, the side buttons did not feel way too far from my short thumbs, so that was a relief. And so far, I did not feel any discomfort while using this for work and games. The width is just right and not too wide, and so is the hump for your palms. Again, I think this would best suit medium to large hands, but small-handed dudes, you gotta do more research on shapes that may or may not suit you. And by research, I mean you gotta spend some money to test out some mice. Now, I do not palm my mice, but palming this feels really good thanks to the grooves on the clickers. They just position your hands more comfortably on top of the mouse. I did not even care to fingertip this as my hands are just way too small for that, bro. Now, have you got any questions? I'm sure I left out a detail or two, so check out the links below on where to get your Eweadn S9 Ultra. And I'll see you guys again next time.